All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to tackle a big one, Montessori discipline. We're going to take this really deep philosophy and turn it into a practical guide you can actually use, especially for those moments when, things just completely go off the rails. And you know exactly the moment I'm talking about, right? We've all been there. It's that tantrum in the middle of the grocery store, the bite during a play date, the shove for a toy, and it just leaves you feeling frustrated, maybe a little helpless, and just not sure how to handle it. Yeah, these are the big ones. Hitting, huge tantrums, flat-out defiance. These behaviors are so challenging. But the Montessori approach offers a framework that's really about guiding a child's development, not just trying to control their actions. So let's look at the plan for today. First, we're going to reframe what discipline even means in this world. Then we'll walk through a 3-tier toolkit you can start using right away. After that, we'll look at some really important warning signs and what different experts are saying. And we'll end with this powerful core idea to hold on to through it all. Okay, let's dive right in. This is the first major shift in thinking we have to make. The goal here is not about creating perfectly obedient, compliant children. It's about nurturing an inner quality, the quality of self-discipline. And this comes straight from Maria Montessori herself. She said that real discipline has to come through freedom, because a child who is just forced into silence or stillness, well, that's not discipline. That's just crushing their spirit. Real discipline is an internal skill, and it grows out of freedom, not fear. So the end goal here is what Montessori called normalization, which is just a fancy word for self-discipline. But what is that really? It's that inner ability for a child to manage their own behavior, to be able to focus, to make good choices, to stick with something hard, and maybe most importantly, to bounce back from frustration without hurting anyone. This brings us to a super crucial point. We have to be able to hold two ideas in our head at the exact same time, even if they seem like opposites. Truth number one, the behavior is not okay. It's not acceptable. Truth number two, the child is not bad. They are a good person having a hard time. This lets us address the action firmly while always respecting the child. So how do we actually put this into practice? Well, with a 3-tiered toolkit. And as you can probably guess, that first tier is the foundation. It's what you're going to be using pretty much all the time. And check this out, because this number is fascinating. These Tier 1 strategies, the everyday, calm, consistent responses, they work for 90 to 99% of children. That tells you it's not about being tougher or more intense. It's about being more consistent. Now, a core tool in Tier 1 is the Peace Corner. But let's be really clear. This is not a timeout chair. It's not a punishment. It's a space that you teach your child about when they're calm. You equip it with tools like a sand timer or a glitter jar to help them work through big feelings with you. It's about co-regulation. And here's the playbook. This is the process, and the order is critical. First, you stop the behavior. You state the limit. We don't hit. Then you acknowledge the feeling. You are so angry right now. You go to the Peace Corner together to calm down, and only then, once everyone is calm, do you go back to repair things and maybe even role-play a better choice for next time. And here's a little reality check, a reminder to be patient with yourself and with them. A young child might need a lesson repeated 30, 40, even 50 times before it really sinks in. That's not them being defiant. That's just how their brain is developing. It's totally normal. Now, for that very small percentage of cases where behaviors just keep happening or get worse, that's when Tiers 2 and 3 come into play. But the goal here doesn't change. It's not about harsher punishments. It's about building a team, collaborating with teachers, pediatricians, maybe a therapist to get more support. It's about adding to the toolkit, not abandoning it. Okay, let's talk about knowing when you might need that extra support. It's so important to know when a behavior might be signaling a deeper issue. And it's also helpful to understand the landscape of advice you're going to get, because you're going to get a lot of it. So if you start to see persistent patterns like these, aggression that seems really deliberate without any remorse, or a total lack of empathy when others are hurt, the source material recommends you start documenting what you see. Take those notes and go seek a professional evaluation, starting with your pediatrician. And when you do look for help, you're going to find a really wide range of advice. You can see here how different experts approach this, and you can also see there's a pretty clear split, especially on the issue of physical discipline or corporal punishment. So, what does the actual research say? Well, it's pretty decisive. Major organizations like the American Academy of Pediatrics have come down firmly against physical discipline. They cite study after study that links it to negative long-term outcomes, like the ones you see here. And all of this brings us to our final, and I think most important, takeaway. Discipline is not about achieving perfection, not in our kids, and definitely not in ourselves. Maria Montessori reminds us that every single child, even the one who is having the absolute hardest, most frustrating moment, is a whole human being. They are worthy of our respect, they hold this incredible potential, and how we respond to them in that difficult moment, that is a critical part of shaping their future. So if there's one thing you remember from this whole explainer, please let it be this. It's this beautiful, powerful paradox. You hold the limit with absolute firmness, and you hold the child with absolute gentleness. And you have to do both at the exact same time.